I was born in Silver City, 1936. Moved to Eureka when let's see, it was 1942 when I started school. 3 families is all that was left there in 1942 when we moved out.
Do you remember what you thought when EPA came here and said...
I thought it was the most terrible thing in the whole world. The world was coming to an end. They was going to ruin everything. As a matter of fact, I was ready to run them off the property when they showed up, lag. Well, like everybody else, they didn't want the government to come in and stick their nose in their business, you know, so to speak. We didn't realize exactly what was going to happen, or we couldn't. Most of the people didn't realize that it was necessary.
After the initial sampling of the 18 children, the testing of the 18 children with elevated blood lead levels, EPA and the state became very concerned about the potential for the children to be exposed to high levels of lead and arsenic in town.
10 is considered elevated. A level of 10 micrograms per deciliter is considered elevated. In the beginning, we were seeing levels of upwards 22.
And so we started an extensive sampling program of all of the residential soils as well as the mine waste areas. Initially, we had an emergency response program for the first 2 years to address some of the most immediate concerns. And then we, by that time, had determined the full remedy that we were going to implement. And we went into the long-term cleanup of both the mine waste areas as well as the residential areas. When we talk about cleaning up a mining town in a mine waste area, you can never really get rid of the lead. You can cap it, which prevents it. It's a barrier against exposure. Some of the biggest challenges of working in Eureka are that it's very remote. You're at least 45 miles from Provo. And so contractors, supplies, materials, it's a long distance for people to drive out. Eureka is built on the side of a mountain. And so there's constant issues with drainage. Where's the water going to go? And you get these intense thunderstorms in the summer. It's a dry and arid climate, and it gets very, very windy. The winds are phenomenal. There are days where we would be using a lot of water for dust control, and the winds you could hardly see across a parking lot. The thing that you want to be able to do is to engage the community early on and let them feel like they're, first of all, part of the cleanup, but second of all, that you understand what their issues and concerns are, and where you can, to make it a collaborative effort. Eureka is part of a National Historic Mining District, the Tintic Historic Mining District. And so the whole site required that EPA consider our impacts of the cleanup on the historic features in town. It is always a priority. Hire as many locals as possible. They had to do a lot of training. They held a couple of times, they held the 40-hour health and safety OSHA course, which is required for any worker to work on a hazardous waste site. I think some of the things that were so good about the cleanup in this community is that we've made it a safer place for this community, for them to raise their kids and not be worried about their kids being exposed to lead through the contaminated soils. I think one of the other things that we've done is through the public health education program, they've helped people understand what lead exposure can do to their children and their children's health. And I just think that knowledge is so much power.
People actually want to move here now, knowing that the EPA has been here. It's been known. I mean, Eureka's been on the news. Eureka's been because of the cleanup, because of the restoration. And it is beyond measure. I mean, it's helped us out a lot.
I think everybody's really happy about that they hired that many people and put them to work. I think that's a good thing. I think that helped quite a bit.
How do you feel about having safe land around you?
You know, in the beginning, that didn't really matter to me because we don't have, all of our kids are grown.
Yeah.
And then my grandchildren moved in with us. So that made a huge difference, knowing that they pull in dirt from any place they can possibly find it, and it's all over the place. So I didn't have to worry about any of that. So it was really nice.
I think we have accomplished a healthier community. I think all the goals we set in the beginning have been accomplished. In the past 3 years, we have had no children with elevated lead levels. And I think that we've taught them some very basic life skills that will go on with them for the rest of their lives.